Hello, and thank you for joining the last edition of Journalist Hangout this week. I am Abosedi Adeniran. Today on the program, court issues final order stopping PDP National Convention, bars party from proceeding until it complies with its constitution, guidelines of the convention. And aside that, House of Reps pushes for delay in WAEC CBT transition as lawmakers demand suspension of 2026 rollout and raise concerns about readiness. And later on the show, ASU may resume full-blown strike on the 21st of November over selective implementation of PACT. I will be hanging out with Charles Adeho and Kayode Ladende. Journalist Hangout starts now. For the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, PDP, the Murphy's Law, which states that left to themselves, things always go from bad to worse, has become instructive regarding its planned national convention slated for Ibadan, your state, on the 15th and 16th of November for the purpose of electing national officers. Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, has issued a final order stopping the PDP from proceeding with its national convention. Delivering judgment in a suit filed by former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, Justice Lifu barred the PDP from proceeding with the convention until it complies with its constitution and guidelines on the convention. The judge ordered that the convention must be put on hold until former Governor Lamido is allowed to purchase a nomination form for the office of the national chairman and prohibited the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from supervising, monitoring, or aiding the convention until the former governor participates in the convention. The latest court order came as party elders take different stances on the exercise, with the former president of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, calling for the suspension of the national convention, citing the risk of deepening internal crisis. Well, save for these continued injunctions, this is the third one that we're hearing in this particular case. The PDP convention should have kicked off tomorrow. Perhaps the hotels in Ibadan would have been fully booked, as we speak. But now, this is what is happening. Kayode, what do you make of this?
I think this is not controversial in any form. I mean, the judgment is clear. It is completely unambiguous. It is something that we have warned on this platform to say that do not deny Lamido, from participating. He can be given, he has all the constitutional right. I don't think he's owing any dues. I don't think he has been caught in any anti-party activities. This is a man who has been quite forthright in the tenets and the ideals of what PDP stands for. So, taking him for granted, going ahead, you can continue your rift with Wike and his faction, creating another faction. We know that one is a battle of ego, is a battle of interest. And we've even advised the party on what to do about that. But it's not easy to tell politicians to stoop to conquer. They always want to have the last say. But for this particular issue, I think it's a very clear case. I think it's a function of appealing to him and probably extend the date if they want to go ahead with the convention and tell him to buy this form and mobilize whoever he wants to mobilize. Because one bigger mistake PDP will make is to think of sanctioning Lamido for taking them to court, because we've seen this in the past. And when you have the likes of Saraki saying, hey, hold it there, they're talking from experience. They're talking for what had bedeviled PDP. And it seems nobody is learning. And whoever is pushing that, hey, we are going to have the last laugh on this matter through this part, trust me, they are heading in the wrong path. Up
until this final court judgment, the latest we heard from the PDP was that they were going ahead with the convention, regardless of what the court had initially said. And they were saying that because they had not gone against the guidelines they published. And I was just thinking to myself, which is supreme? The guidelines published or the party's constitution?
No, I think what actually was goading the PDP to want to go ahead was that because I asked some lawyers, they were relying on there's in law, according to what some lawyers say, if two courts of concurrent jurisdiction they administer justice in a single case. For instance, Kayode as the judge, he has said, don't do it. I, as the judge of concurrent jurisdiction, I said, do it. So mine, the latest, will be the one that will be executed. So that's possibly what the PDP was relying on, because I asked questions. Since there are two courts of concurrent jurisdiction, equal jurisdiction, making pronouncements on the same case, so the latest one is the one they want to enforce. Which, of course, I'm sure that was what they tried to rely upon for them to say they wanted to go ahead.
Well, with this latest
this latest is the latest. You understand? This one is the latest. So the latest is the one that will be, it's also of a concurrent jurisdiction, for instance. So this is the latest, and they cannot go ahead, except maybe tonight. There's another one that say go ahead. They can quickly say, okay, this one is also the latest. That's the way it goes according to what the law say legally. But I couldn't agree more with Saraki, Bukola Saraki, who of course cautioned even before this judgment that because when a political matter, or particularly a case that has to do with party politics, goes to court for trial, there's a problem. You can easily reconcile political issues politically than legally. I agree with him. Because before you look at what's happening now, one party will go to court, the other will go to court and all that, and you cannot disobey court orders. So, Sule Lamido, I think I discussed it with a friend of mine, the very moment they said he was allegedly prevented from obtaining that form, I said they were headed for trouble. And I do not understand why for the past 10 years that PDP lost election in 2015, they seem not to have found their soul back. There are plenty-figure forces pulled in from the center, beginning from 2015, the Amadou Sherif and Shekarau, again, it went on till they tried to rebuild the party. So, but if you look at history, I think PDP is the only party, I mean, the way I look at it, that lost national election and never got its soul back. If you look at in the 79-83 election, when Unity Party of Nigeria, UPN, lost the election, what did they? They regrouped, got 5 states, Bende and the rest of them, and began to build from that. The NPC went to the east, then the NPN, they also. So that's the way it's supposed to. But since the PDP lost election, they have not found a way to repeal because of what you mentioned about multiple interests that are seeming to tear the party apart, tear the soul of the party apart, and because of interest, look at the Wike interest. Look at the Bala Mohammed interest. Look at all other interests. Shey Makinde interest. So except they all subsume their personal interests, under a common interest, which of course is difficult to get. Then PDP may not. This is a supposition. Supposing it happens this way, they may not feel the candidate for 2027.
That's subsuming now.
Yeah,
is
that's
the challenge.
exactly.
So perhaps because they ruled for 16 years, perhaps they need another 16 years to regroup and come together. That's on a lighter. That's on a lighter note. One of the propositions that the former Senate President Bukola Saraki made was that they should set up a caretaker committee.
Exactly.
But he would always say that is alien to the party's constitution.
It is called caretaker. Caretaker is to.
It's to take care.
You understand? It's like a hard hoc thing. Let us solve this problem in the interim. We need leadership. We need someone to stand in. Because what Saraki could see from his fact-finding and his reconciliation effort is that, hey, these egos have not been appealed. These men have not totally yielded. You saw a Saraki who found out that, okay, Seyi Makinde and Peter Mbah then, were seriously against Wike. And look at Peter Mbah now, he has led for APC. In other words, he had seen that, hey, this problem is not closer to resolution that I thought. Therefore, can we have a caretaker? Let's have a headway. And I don't want to quote him wrongly, but from the way he sounded, it's sounding like, hey, rebuilding PDP may not be a 2 years journey. He seems to have seen it. In fact, one of the things he said is that he was sure that 2 more governors were going to join APC. And after he said it, I think 2 have joined, or if not more than 2. So he had gone deep. He knows. He has been in politics for quite some time. If I was born into politics, talking about Bukola Saraki, his father was also a politician. So for me, I just feel that this guy should be taken seriously. it seems genuine. Good, he may have his ulterior motive. Maybe he wants to fly the party's ticket. He hasn't said that. That is allowed. But for me, I want to see. But there's something he said that got me more, curious. Yeah. It's about how we are turning the judiciary to a serious mess.
And then
it is about the latest.
To blame the judiciary.
You understand? We have turned them to the latest. Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, one of the things she said when she came in is that this nonsense has to stop. Why will a federal high court say something and a state high court is giving judgment on the same matter? Court of coordinate jurisdiction, these judges must be sanctioned. They should not entertain such issues because as far as politicians are concerned, they will try any court, they will come up with different court. The case of Lamido is different. It's a different matter they went there.
There are about 3 cases now.
Exactly. Lamido is different. Lamido is saying, I need to participate. And he tried all his best. He wasn't against this November 15th. He wanted to still jump into the race and try his best to emerge as the chairman. That you have zoned into a particular geopolitical zone does not prevent me from contesting. It simply means that, okay, you've had a consensus candidate, that's Turaki. Let me contest with him. Then the winner will emerge. Why ignore him? So I feel PDP miscalculated. It can't be winners take all. You need to call this man into a meeting. That's the only way. Because if he doesn't drop this matter, these judgments subsist. And
getting him to drop that matter would really be a big deal. And I mean, it's less than, we can say less than 12 hours to when the convention should hold. So I really look forward to hearing from the camp because I want to know what their position will be at this time.
I think what they introduced to Sopeda.
Just watch out, stay close to your phone.
Because it could be
they'll release your statement. And another court can rule.
As I said. But you see, the thing is that I think they should Sopeda. We're talking about caretaker and all that. If it's recognized by law. The caretaker he talks about may not be statutory, but it could be a stopgap measure to get, because for instance, let me use this analogy. If you have a property and then you give it to the caretaker, the caretaker is not the owner. He's only taking care of the property for you. The caretaker is taking care of the. So if they can also get a caretaker committee as Dr. Bukola Saraki has espoused, what they need to do is that they may not necessarily have the backing of the law for them, but they could go, just for them to go, go into their shell and begin to do internal, secretly internal healing of nerves, healing of conciliation, and calling all the parties together. Because for me, most of the governors are also jumping. I used to have a problem with them. You build a house, the house is crumbling. You are now leaving the house crumbling to go take shelter in somebody else's house who built it.
Don't you think they're thinking about their future? Their political future.
Political future. You are leaving your father's house, your ancestral. I consider this thing as ancestral. Because for instance, I understand in Ghana, I've not been to Ghana, but I have a friend who lived in Ghana for about 20 years. He said that it is almost difficult for you to jump from one party to another in Ghana. It's just like somebody will say, you can't share any, kind of thing.
Perhaps that brings us back to that issue of, party philosophy. Do we have that? Is there really any clear difference between the parties that we have?
Because as I mentioned earlier, between 1979 and some of us were very small, because I was following, you could have a clear cut, a well delineated or demarcated party ideologies and manifesto. You knew that the UPN education was at the forefront, was at the center point of the UPN policy. Then you had the free Green Revolution, something of the MPN. Then you went to the east. You also found out with Zik. But here,
in Nigeria today,
it is difficult because the manifesto of PDP is almost difficult to separate that from the APC. The only thing you find is individual, like President Tinubu came up with a renewed hope. That's his own, because he found a way to bring that document. I think also brought his own before the 2023. So you can find individual policies and manifesto different from party manifesto. It's supposed to separate the one from the other. That's exactly what we are having on this chaos. Except we have a well-defined political party attached to the brand of a party. Separate from the other, we can never, because
how
that's
do we get to that point?
It's a combination of I think it's a bigger problem as a nation. We hardly follow the books. We hardly follow the ideals. You know, when I mean ideals, I mean principles. When we come to party system, even in America, when you're discussing, they say this is a Republican, this is a Democrat.
It's clear.
You can,
even
if not just leaders, when you're talking to a fellow American, he will tell you that, no, I am totally, and you will see their decisions, they can be predicted. You will see that the what do you call them now? The Republicans love to fight war. They love to bring the guns out. They want to do all those stuff. And you will see the Democrats very, very inclined to the African Americans, the blacks, and some other excesses that we consider excesses.
Let's quickly take this call.
Okay.
Kola Buhari calling from... Kola Buhari, okay, calling from Oshogbo. Good to have you join us, Kola. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, good evening. About this PDP's Braha issue, I think yeah, good evening. I want to contribute my
Kola, you'll do us a favor, and you know any other person who would call in, just turn down the volume of your device completely, listen through the phone and not through your
because of time, let me just quickly jump on the right hand, my considered right answer.
Yes, please.
There are still some few individuals in this country who stick to party ideologies, would stick to party philosophies. They may not be in the front line. I remember one of those funny interviews they had with Lai Mohammed, and they were asking him that they mistakenly called him the National Publicity Secretary of PDP. He said, never! You know, you will see a Tinubu who will tell you that nothing will ever take him to PDP. I'd rather remain with this progressive ideology. You understand? And he was building it. You know, you can still say this is the metamorphosis of AD to AC to ACN to APC.
So,
this is not a change of...
Charles was saying about the fact that the governors are leaving rather than staying to build their home.
Yeah, so there are people. But for these governors, they don't understand. They don't. Some of them have not even seen the party manifesto. It's about a platform.
Yes.
Where's this platform? Where's the money? Where do I get the support? Who is speaking my language? For these governors, one of the reasons why it's so easy, I'm sorry I have to say it again, why it's looking like a one-party affair, is that this current president has opened up more revenue for them. I checked the budget of, is it Gombe? One state yesterday, I read it.
Yes.
The budget has doubled because there's more money.
Just more thoughts, Kade and Charles. Kola Buhari is back. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, good evening. This issue of PDP not getting their acts right is not their fault as such, the way I look at it. You know, maybe they've been having their way all along for their 60 years of governance of the country. So maybe they have over-assumed that things can always go on even without any qualms. I think the earlier they learn how to respect their own constitution, their party's constitution, the better, because the party's constitution is primary, it's like taproot of their being in politics. If they don't even want to respect the constitution of Nigeria, that's another thing. But their own party's constitution. You see, this former governor of Alhaji Lamido, Sule Lamido, he has been a very nucleus member of that party. So I wouldn't know whatever they had or they still have against him to have expunged his name from being included in those aspirants vying for the chairmanship of their party. So I think they are being themselves. So the earlier they go back to certain issues, the better for them. Otherwise, that will be too late.
All right, Kola Buhari, thank you very much for that. So it's like the PDP was not ready to be in opposition. I mean, they promised they were going to rule for 60 years.
Is it when you're now defining PDP, if you listen to him very well, when you're defining PDP, the men who were ruling PDP then, many of them are no longer on the upstage. The likes of Sule Lamido and the likes of Bode George, those guys were there at the beginning. And those were the ones sticking to the constitution. But these new guys have come. In fact, someone like the governor of Zamfara State, at the time was in APC. He moved to PDP. These are people who are moving from one platform to the other. So when it comes to this is what we believe in our party constitution, there must be power zoning from here to here. You know, that's why people like that stood against Atiku and said, Atiku, but you know, that we have a zoning arrangement.
And that's why someone
Why do you want to go against
Bode George will still tell you today that the PDP is a big Iroko tree. He never forgets to use that
But again,
word.
I think apart from the governors also that are misbehaving in the manner of speaking, I want to also lay part of the blame at the doorstep of the foremost leaders of PDP. For instance, president, they've had about 2 presidents, if I'm not mistaken, but one of them, okay, 3 presidents, one of them no more. No more. Okay, Obasanjo, why would Obasanjo tear his membership card of party? They were supposed to have been
even good luck fully with them.
That's what people say, hey, I'm going there. So it's something you started. You benefited copiously from the largesse of the party. I mean, you were maybe number one beneficiary of that, of what PDP offered. As you were leaving office, you were tearing your membership. As you are telling them, what do you think those who are following you will be looking at? If you do not believe in the ideas of the party, how do you think the followers will do that? Jonathan will say, okay, go ahead.
Let's quickly take this call. Yes. Olusegun is calling us from Ekpaja in Lagos. Olusegun, thank you for joining us. Let's have your take, please.
God bless you, journalists and girls.
Thank you.
We really appreciate what you are doing for Nigeria through this program. God will continue to be with you. What I just want to say, it is greediness that is working against all the leadership of the PDP, and it serves them right. Nobody can go above the law. Nobody can move against orderliness. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
So as I was saying, because
thank you.
Okay, is it there?
Yes.
You need a father figure to defer to. Now look at during the campaign of Trump coming back and all that, the Democrat. You saw Obama, you saw all of them behind their candidate. But where is Obasanjo today that was president for 8 years? Where is Goodluck Jonathan, president for about 6 years and all that? These people are supposed to...
At the time, they even work with the opposition.
They work with the opposition. So that's where... If, for instance, I'm your leader,
yes,
then you are seeing me whether here or there, the followership will be a problem. That's, I think, is also part of it.
We need to go to, our next